For a challenge, I wanted to survive the Mechanoid madness in RimWorld, build a spaceship, and then escape the planet. But that was easier said than done, for you see, I was harassed by insane mech raids and feral wasters, while trying to build my base in a dead land with a permanent toxic fallout. Of course, I also had a couple of side goals like defeating every mech boss added by Alpha Max mod and starting an android revolution, but more about that later, so now relax, crack open a cold one and join me on this epic adventure, which began by our three heroes dropping from the sky. Alas, the land around them was dead. There was barely any soil clinging to the polluted metallic wasteland, and nothing grew or lived on this ruined expanse buffeted by the toxic winds of nuclear fallout. So, what would we eat, you ask? Well, I had a plan. We tilled the little remaining soil and planted lettuce, because that was the one crop that grew under our roof and was thusly protected from the fallout. We also built a water well and began digging into the giant metal mountain.
Well, Crag decided to just sleep on the ground, which is not gonna end up well for people, but it's what it is.
A small room was dug out and we brought an old table inside and set up a research bench where Merp began learning about geothermal power. And I feel like now would be the perfect time to introduce our protagonists. First, we had Burp Sober, who was a brave brawler but also an abrasive groundbreaker with passion for mining, construction, and melee. He was a waster, so he was at home in these toxic lands, but that also meant his life was dependent on psychic drugs. Same went for our second colonist, Crack Cocoon, who was a fast-walking, animal-hating ecologist with a passion for shooting, plants, and crafting. These two guys were adorned with patched leather shirts, wielding a glaive and a crappy rifle. But last member of the team was something completely different. Merp was an awakened android, who was generally very smart and beautiful, but as android, she needed neutral aiming to replenish her bodily fluids, which meant that was something we'd have to start working on soon. Alas, whoever created her augmented her body with foxtail and ears, so naturally, we were doomed. On day 3, Burp built beds and shelves inside, then Crack attempted to plant some already doomed psychoid plants. Burp also built our first power generator.
I hate wind turbines, but this one will have to do.
At least now we had light inside, and then I assigned electric smelter to be built because the metallic mountain was full of metal chunks. Visitors showed up the next day and Merp bought their meals and meds. Then a group of sick cats showed up in an attempt to eat us, but the visitors took good care of them. Our water well reached 100% pollution at this point, but there was nothing we could do about it yet. And since Crack was already harvesting the first batch of lettuce, I told Burp Sober to dig a fridge. Crack began smelting steel the next day so Burp could build the fridge cooler, but then a bunch of wasters showed up.
Here we go. Oh, he's already fleeing.
While the fight was very anticlimactic, this is a perfect time to talk about the world at large. Most of the planet was polluted and covered with metallic ruins. We lived on the western side, and while there were still a couple of friendly factions clinging to this world, it was otherwise mostly populated by dangerous waster pirates and maniacal feral bands with great names such as Destroyers, Skinners, and Sanity Skinners. Moving on, our lettuce was now refrigerated and our food situation saved, but the colonists started to feel the tension.
Burp told lies about me, okay.
So Burp built a chess table for relaxation purpose. On day 9, I decided to accept the Empire's quest to kill a raccoon, and naturally we chose Merp to receive the honor.
She could be our foxy queen. Yes, let's do it.
Yes, this was already starting to become cursed, but at least we dealt with the mad animal with ease. The next day, geothermal power research finally finished, and Merp began learning about hydroponics. A heat wave also began, but it was not the only heat growing in the colony, as Burp decided to court Merp. At least he took some time off to finish the geothermal generator, so now we didn't need to worry about electricity for a while. Burp Sober then built a nutrient paste dispenser, which our religion considered awful, but it was still a fledgling thing. Called machine perfection, the colonists consider mechs gods and would hate to see them die. Alas, I knew we'll have to fight a lot of mechs along the way, so while it was a good starting place, it was in need of serious reformation along the way. Burp then smashed ancient tanks that were in his way to build a wall.
Get him, Burp! Get him, buddy!
He improved the defense with embrasures and spike traps the next day, which would have to be enough for defense for now. Research proceeded nicely. Craig, who had a heat stroke, was harvesting more lettuce, and Burp began digging further into the mountain, which he finished on day 17. I told him to reinforce it with sturdy steel walls. Then we bought some herboments from a passing caravan. Burp then built a couple of hydroponic basins, which was followed by an attack by pharaohs.
Oh god, we had the damned ones coming at us.
They perished on our traps, and since the damned ones were considered to be animals, Crack took one apart and was happy to report their meat was edible. Alas, not delicious when turned into a nutrient-based meal. I then realized I was a silly Billy and the hydroponics required water, but I decided to wait until we got Deep Well's research finished. Burp dug out a new bedroom on day 21, and as a reward he received an expertise in mining. I considered these rooms to be temporary, but my colonists disagreed with me.
Merp and Burp are getting married.
Microelectronics research finished next, then we bought some psych IT for our wasters from a wandering trader. Merp became an expert researcher and her future husband built her a new high-tech research bench. He then furnished the 2 bedrooms and slowly the place wasn't looking like Hobostan anymore. I decided to bestow everyone with appropriate religious roles next.
This seems completely fine and normal. Not horrible at all. Love it.
Merp became a scaremonger, Burp Sober was a mecha doombringer, and Crag became bionic inventor, which allowed him to order mechs to self-destruct. A couple piggies joined the next day, but since we didn't really have anything to feed them, we ate one and traded the other for some gold and plasteel. Then I decided to accept a quest to take care of a broken animal in exchange for a not-so-broken human.
Oh, there it is. There's the sorcerer. Paralytic abasia. Awesome.
Burp continued to dig deeper into the mountain, where he then constructed a deep, pollution-free well and a pump to bring it to the hydroponics. I then caught our lovers sneaking away.
Oh my god, would you look at that? We're making baby androids. I don't know if that's possible.
Thankfully, it was not possible, and I counted that as a win. I also decided to help 2 drifters who were basic humans, so they had to quickly hide inside away from the toxic fallout. Also, at long last, we had water, and Crack planted psychoids and healroot. Merp delivered the broken animal the next day, and a new guy joined us. While he wasn't the best, he was passionate about a lot of things, so I was happy to have him. Merp then introduced him to our Lord and Savior machine gods, and since he was a coma child, I decided to rename him Coma, which offended a couple of wasters who came to perish on our traps. They did shoot up a trader first, but we had the last laugh. Burp then built a small cabinet to speed up smelting time. Then we dug out and furnished Coma's new room. We then started mining deeper into the mountain.
I have set up the plans for a future base expansion that I'm gonna be working on.
But also, I wanted to unlock MechTech, and Crack Cocoon was chosen to blow up the ancient mech spider remains. He then decrypted the message for a quest, which brought down an ancient ship with one Scyther defender, who proceeded to die on our traps.
We didn't even get Mechanoid killed because technically the traps killed the Mechanoid. We didn't kill the Mechanoid.
One of the guests then lost his leg on the traps as well, and his friend just left him behind. Alas, that didn't stop Burp Sober and Merp from getting married in Coma's bedroom. Then I set up more workbenches to be built, Burp finished those, and Crack began working on a duster. After finishing that, I told him to make some simple helmets as well, and Burp was the first to get new equipment. I forgot to feed the guy that lost his legs on our traps, so he died of starvation. I still blame his friend for leaving him behind though. Burp built a couple of new hydroponics for cotton next, and then I finally remembered the dead Mechanitor.
So I forgot about this guy. Let's go extract the mech link.
Craig became our Mechanitor and received a Builder Steve as a reward. He built his own recharger the next day, then a bunch of impits attacked us. They were scrawny tribals equipped with bows, so our traps and guns made quick work of them. Then a transport pod fell from the sky, and I decided to save the refugee.
Damn, look at that haircut on the dude. Wow.
Crack Cocoon began working on a Psych IT production on day 41, and the Chewbacca haircut guy decided to join us. Merp instantly declared a ritual was in order to welcome him, and that made everyone happy. I then realized we now had enough plasteel from the dead mech, and Burp built a multi-analyzer so Merp could begin learning about fabrication. We were low on power, so I decided to connect another geothermal Jenny, which gave us the power surge we needed to begin turning our own poop into fuel.
Well, Poop Commando is here. Welcome to the squad, buddy.
He was another baseliner, so I had to keep him inside, just like Coma, where they were safe from toxic fallout. A couple of pirates showed up next, but there were not enough of them to breach our traps, and we hunted down the fleeing cowards. Then a Mechanoid ship landed on the planet, which was to contribute to mech attacks in the future. But for now, we got our first batch of cotton in, and I signed flak jackets to be crafted, which Craig began working on right away. Fabrication research completed the next day. Then a bunch of pharaohs dropped outside our base on day 47. A couple of them decided to bash in my walls, and they went straight for Steve.
Go execute him. Get him, Burp. Oh, what a nice stab.
A couple died on the traps, and the rest we took care of ourselves. And I decided to capture a fallen soldier who was great brawler, and Coma began recruiting him right away.
This is weird. Are you guys kissing? Is this how recruiting works out here? Oh, Jesus.
I also assigned some scrap armor to be made, and Merp zealously converted our prisoner. Burp built a heater inside so he wouldn't freeze, and Crag began working on the scrap armor.
It's actually pretty decent against sharp and blunt. That's actually pretty good.
We then continued with base expansion on day 50, and we finished it with a new bedroom for Poop Commando on day 54. Burp also built an art bench because my people desired a cataclysmic statue, which I forced Merp to craft on account of being the only half-decent artist. Then a group of destroyers dropped right outside our doorstep. They caught Steve unawares, but with Burp in the front, we formed a line to defeat them, and the last ones died on the tramps trying to flee. We built mech infrastructure the next day, and Crack crafted 2 mech subcores.
And I want to just state a lifter and a clean sweeper.
I bought 2 advanced components from a bulk goods trader on day 56, which allowed Steve to finish a fabrication bench the next day, and Craig began crafting components instantly.
Also, we're getting our first new mech. Look at that, we got ourselves a lifter.
What was to be our temple was then outlined and fully completed on day 60. Poop Commando and Craig began working on armor and weapons for us, and then we got a new recruit.
Hey, there you go, Penguin has joined.
While he was amazing at melee, he wasn't really good at anything else, so I assigned him to art instead of Merp. But in true artist fashion, he instead destroyed a bunch of our workbenches. Then in the evening, we had unforgettable machine fair, which at long last allowed us to reform our ideology, and to improve it, I decided to add transhumanism to our creed.
I think this is gonna work. We're gonna have to give them a lot of like next level tech stuff, but you know, this is fine.
Merp loved being herself now, while the rest complained about not having high-tech stuff to wipe their asses for them. Crack then began working on EMP grenades, and our new recruit cooked up some drugs. Crack, Coon then finished a lasso, which I gave to Burp sober, and then it was mech time.
Let's call that Diabolus. Oh, 3 militaries, 1 Diabolus. That should be easy money.
They arrived the next day and came charging in like the bullies they were.
Really? That's the thing you decided to shoot? Alright. Oh, fair enough. Steve, wait there.
The big boy tried to shoot Steve, but Burp said nope.
Execute. Nice. Good stun. Oh, he executed him! Let's go! Easy money!
Craig then unlocked the next level of mech tech, then he started making shirts and pants for the squad. Since Penguin survived his wake-up addiction, I decided he deserved a new name, and he became Smash because he loved to smash. I then sold a bunch of our extra armor that Poop Commando's been pooping out, and then Burp led a mech fiesta in our new temple. It was apparently fun, which triggered a new colonist to join us.
It's a child? Why are we getting a child?
He was a useless little shit, so I renamed him The Child, and he instantly began to ruin the aesthetics of our base like children tend to do. A group of destroyers then dropped right outside our front door, but we convinced them that death was the preferable outcome for them. Not much then happened until day 73, when a volcanic winter joined the permanent toxic fallout outside. Then another mech frigate landed near our base, and then our very impressive rec room was complete. A defoliator ship landed on day 76.
That's Scorchers, Lancers, and Pikemen.
But luckily for us, the Empire Tribute Collector showed up the next day, and they awoke the mechs. Unfortunately, they only killed the Scorchers before both parties disengaged, and while Craig tried to trigger the rest of the mechs, he was punished severely. He also shat his pants in fear, so further combat was postponed. Luckily, the Empire people cleaned up after themselves when they left the next day, and smashed the ship to pieces.
Can you actually do any damage to this? Wow, this takes a while, huh?
We then built our new lab, complete with sterile talos for faster research, and we added smart tables to the rec room where people could eat or watch space hentai. Crack Cocoon then crafted a mech commander helmet for himself, and Merp finished advanced fabrication so we could start crafting our own advanced components. We also learned how to combine chem fuel and steel into plasteel.
500 steel and 40 chem fuel makes 110 plasteel. Pretty expensive, but it is what it is.
I sent Burp to find gold for advanced components next, and then a destroyer mech ship landed nearby, which we ignored because we still worship those metal monstrosities. Burp built a hospital with Steve's help on day 84, and Craig just stated an agrihand to help with food production. Then he called the Diabolus again, who had some targeting issues. But then they decided to come inside and we started blasting. I tried to execute run with Burp again, but he only injured the big mech this time around before he was enveloped in flames. But luckily, Smash was ready to smash.
Smash execute? Oh, he did! He did it! Smash executed him. Let's go. We just have some fiery issues now.
Rain saved Burp while the squad took care of the pikemen, and just like that, we were victorious.
Easy money. Nobody important got hurt.
Burp did get an infection, but his wife convinced him not to be a baby about it. An infestation then popped up, but it was a tiny one, and our visitors decided to take care of it for us. After all these rough days, the colonists then decided to have a binge party and everyone got stoned.
The child just got diarrhea. Nice.
Crack finished crafting chain shotguns, and then he made an assault rifle for himself. Poop Commando began working on recon helmets for everyone, and finally the squad was a bit better armed and armored. Volcanic winter ended on day 93, and then our first militar was created.
So these militars I'm gonna start naming after my Patreon supporters and channel members. So hello, Nuke. You'll probably die first.
Since we were low on power, I decided to add another geothermal Jenny, and then Brighton the Militar joined us on day 95. Steve finished the generator the next day, and then I learned that Merp was low on power.
Oh my god, I did not know about that. How the fuck do we... How do we fix this though?
I needed to research Android tech, but for that I first needed high Mac tech, which meant calling down the War Queen. But first I did a big trade with the visiting traders, and when I saw a new caravan showed up, Crack instantly summoned the Queen. He also gestated the next military named Lucy, but then all I could do was wait. Alas, at midnight the caravan left. Naturally, the big girl arrived right after that, and we had to prepare for the fight of our lives. She barely took any damage gliding over the traps, and when she got inside, Smash managed to stun our own Max with the EMP grenade. Burr blasted one of the pikemen and killed it, but then more came through, and he was down again. Luckily, we had Smash ready to smash.
Execute this pikeman. Pocket send. Good, he killed him. Well played.
All three militaries slowly perished doing their job of masterfully baiting the Big Bertha, and then suddenly she was the only one left standing.
That's fine, she's 20%, we got this. Let's go, War Queen defeated, boys.
Merp patched her husband, and then Craig deciphered the Queen's chip. The next day, everybody was feeling down for shooting up their Mac gods.
Everybody killed one, which is great though.
Merp finished the high Mac tech research, and then just like a teenager, she began learning about her own body. Burp built a bionics workbench, then the android research was completed. Craig then began resurrecting his dead militaries the next day, and Burp built an android part workbench, where I assigned a new reactor to be crafted for Merp. A group of Mac breachers showed up on day 103, and they started blasting at our walls. Alas, they were not ready for Smash's EMP grenades or Burp's lasso.
Alright, execute the termite. You got him? Nice, okay, he downed him.
Smash joined him in a melee, then I noticed Burp lost an arm in the fight, but everyone else was mostly fine, just sad about shooting up their gods. Poop Commando then instantly began working on a bionic arm for our sober friend, and I told him to turn it into an advanced version next. He finished it on day 107, and then Merp upgraded her husband with it.
Hell yeah, he's got advanced bionic arm now. You'll love to see it.
Crack also finished the reactor for Merp, and he successfully installed it the next day.
She's got full power again. Oh, let's go.
Burp then began digging out our new entrance, and the last of my dead channel members were resurrected. The new entrance was then completed on day 112.
Alright, now that's gonna be the entrance to our base. This is the first time I'm using this type of kill box, and I'm excited to see how it's gonna work. I then moved the smelter into the adjacent room, and Burp closed off our old smeltery and entrance the next day. I then began mining out a future dining room, and I also told Poop Commando to continue crafting bionics for us. We added a place for a fridge behind the dining area, complete with a frozen column. Then it was finally time to test the new kill box, when a bunch of sanity skinners dropped outside, but they had some slight issues. What is he doing? Oh, he's trying to go outside to attack the wind turbine. He's holding them all back.
Lucy became the bait, but that allowed the rest to come inside, which didn't end well for them.
Oh, this is going well. Nice.
I decided to capture a Hussar medic who lost an arm and a leg in the battle, and then we celebrated our victory with a beautiful machine fair. Our new fridge was then completed on day 223 with an automated nutrient paste grinder.
Ah, look at that. It's grinding and creating the meals. Let's go.
Burp and Steve then proceeded to furnish the dining room, which was completed the next day, but that wasn't the only good news.
Oh, look at that. The virus pack destroyed one of the destroyers.
Merp then converted our prisoner, who instead of being happy, decided to attempt an escape. But we had Smash, who came to smash her. And even though he only fisted her a little bit, this happened in the process.
Did you really destroy another of her arms? Oh my god.
I gave Burp another advanced bionic arm, and our new bathroom was completed the next day, but naturally people complained like little babies that the water was cold. I caught coma watching Spaceborne, then we started reinstalling workbenches into our new workshop. Burp also built a boiler, and finally we had hot water for our one and only bathtub that everyone had to share. Burp began digging out what was to be our new storage area, and then Merp installed 2 new advanced bionic arms on Smash, and he had to instantly put them to good use.
Oh boy, what do we have? Phalanxes? With cryogenic guns? Goliath needle gun?
The little ones perished on the traps, while the big boys made it all the way in.
Oh my god, this thing is tanking so much. Okay, good, we got 1 stun.
Stuns were great, yes. Alas, one of the dead mags then blew up our whole kill box, and chaos ensued. But we had Burp, and I decided to unleash him. He lassoed and executed the phalanx, then Smash lassoed the centipede in.
The centipede stands no chance against Burp and Smash. Let's go.
While the whole kill box was ruined, we only suffered bruises, so it was a glorious victory in my opinion. But still, I decided to rebuild some of the entrance with uranium because it was sturdier than basic steel. A couple of our people then got sick with sensory mechanites, and then we began mining out a new power room. Our prisoner then joined us at last, and I was confused for a moment why she couldn't equip a gun.
Okay. I totally forgot she doesn't have arms, so let's give her arms.
Merp made it happen, installing 3 new limbs, and I renamed our new recruit into Stump. I gave her a charge rifle because she was a good shot. Then we finished one of our new power reactors, and Stump refueled it with uranium.
It's producing plenty of power, and 60 uranium is for 30 days. That's decent.
With 2 of those, our power reserves were decent again, and I ordered Poop Commando to make us some grenadier armor. We actually ran out of steel momentarily after spending tens of thousands of it, but I had my people working 24/7 in the smelting sweatshop like a good overlord. A bunch of pirates then dropped in, and we funneled them nicely into the kill box. They broke pretty fast, and Britain was ready to flank them. I decided to save one of them who was good at combat, and Stump captured him.
That's a great place to sleep, Stump. Indeed, a great place to sleep.
Then I accepted a quest on day 142.
Do we want to do infestation of 19 hives? This could be interesting, because I need a persona core.
Alas, instead of 19 hives, only 1 spawned, and our 2 big boys easily dealt with it. Pods arrived, and with them, the persona core.
Means we can now finally build the Aurora core for research over here.
Burp built it the next day, which meant I could now continue researching more eccentric tech. First grenadier armor was then ready, and Burp was the one to get it. I didn't notice our water levels were low, so I ordered Burp to build a new pump which was faster at sucking from deep wells. Smash received our second grenadier armor next, and I bought a big batch of Hyperreave and Synthread from a trader, which allowed me to craft Hyperreave lassos for my melee guys. Merp then installed 2 advanced bionic eyes into Crack's face. Then Poop Commando made a masterful marine helmet for himself. Merp gave her husband 2 new legs on day 151. Then Shadow, who was also a waster, joined us, so he fit right in.
Shadow is gonna be the new Poop Commando. Love it. Let's go.
One of the visitors went berserk next, but Burp was there to take care of it.
Why are we attacking these guys?
Then our new deep fridge was complete, where I wanted to store our toxic waste bags so we could stop polluting the already toxic lands for now. We also built 2 mortars, and Crack Cocoon began working on explosive shells. I then queued up marine armor to be made for the rest of the squad, and then I wanted to finally go deeper into the mech tech. We had a lot of options from alpha mechs, but first I needed prisoners to rip apart their brains. But since we didn't have those, we celebrated the mech fiesta instead, which must have attracted our gods because a group of them landed in my base the next day.
Don't let them fire in here. Oh, that's a good stunt. It's a good stunt. Holy shit, that thing exploded again.
I then sent Burp in to clean the rest, but clearly I needed to find some sturdier materials to make my kill box out of. Crack put on his new marine armor, and Burp built a new geothermal Jenny. I also built tritium storage tanks, which I forgot to do previously. Crack began crafting new pens for the squad, and the workshop extension was then mostly complete. Next I put down blueprints for nanofabricator and assembler from eccentric tech.
Oh, there we go. We have a nanofabricator where we can make nanoweave, reactor hull plates, and high-density hex cells.
Burp built yet another geothermal generator on day 168, then I gave him and Smash new plasteel glaives. Koma's ex-wife fell from the sky then, and even though her brain was kinda broken, I had to save her with a name like that.
We don't have the Glitter World meds to fix her, but at least we can give her another hand.
Steve and Burb then built neuro superchargers for everyone to juice up their brains, and cranked up a couple of Masterwork t-shirts. Naturally, our new engines were very power hungry.
Don't ever have enough power, we're gonna need another one of these.
Alas, while we were trying to build a new generator, a group of wasters dropped in. They wanted to go through my walls, and there was nothing I could do to stop them, so we had to charge in. Burp and Smash were the frontline executioners, although the enemy tried their best to poison them.
Go stab this guy. Nice. He's just stabbing them all.
Beefy frontline and smart flanking made the wasters flee, and I decided to capture all of the downed raiders. But not to recruit them, no. They became my new mech core farm.
And Lance has died for the high subcore. Awesome.
After these casual war crimes, I then connected 2 biosculptors to the nutrient paste network and allowed Smash and Poop Commando to have their mandatory yearly age reversal. We then built a couple band nodes so Crack could gestate more mechs. Then this happened at the party.
You have lovers? Koma tried to woo Stump? Let's go.
The next day, a bunch of burly feral monstrosities attacked us, and we unleashed hell upon them in our beautiful kill box.
They're dying. Oh, they're fleeing? Oh, they're fleeing. Let's go.
Smash and Burp chased the slow ones for double execute, then Burp and Stump enjoyed their government-mandated age reversal. Our ungrateful prisoners attempted to escape then, but as is tradition, Smash did the smash. I also accepted a high psychic drone quest for a brain wiring tech print, then I managed to trade all of our old armor for a bunch of hyperreef and 2 catapract armors from a trader. Naturally, Burp and Smash were the ones getting the new armor, and so everyone now had some kind of heavy armor. Merp researched brain wiring, and I assigned a couple of joy wires to be built. Then 45 tribals with bows attacked us, and naturally, they stood no chance.
Oh my god, this is massacre.
Not a single one escaped, and we added a couple new prisoners. Shadow also got her age reversal capsule on day 185, and then Crack got himself a new big Steve to mine and soak up damage. Prisoners beat each other up the next day, then we found a backdoor access to our base.
Oh, Steve, what have you found down here?
Crack made himself another big new mech with an inbuilt shield, and Burp finished another generator.
I don't think I ever had 7 geothermal generators just line up like this and feel like I still don't have enough power.
Merb then installed joy wires into our prisoners to make them happy, and the child was finally not the child anymore. So he armed and armored up. Then I assigned deuterium extractors to be built on day 193, which Burb finished the next day. Prisoners tried an escape again, so our 2 big boys talked them out of it with their fists, and as a reward for escaping, I told Merb to remove their legs. A giant mech cluster then popped down on day 195.
You know what? We worship mechs. We're just never gonna get close to this.
I assigned the child to start crafting dusters for us to level up his double passion crafting skill, and then deuterium extractors were connected to storage to provide us with fuel for our future fusion reactor. I also accepted a quest that was supposed to spawn 26 hives, but again, it was a tiny one, which unfortunately was what she said. As a reward, Burb got himself a new hammer.
This thing's got kill sorrow? Oh, that's such bullshit.
But at least he looked cool. He then built a reactor the next day, and Steve finished the capacitors. Koma did an oopsie then on day 199, and since we were getting a new child, I had to rename the old child.
A laser slap. Welcome to the squad, Laser Slap.
The capacitors were charged at this point, so I was able to start the new reactor.
And it's fully operational. Let's go. Producing power 50,000 watts? Really?
With our power needs now satisfied, I then began digging out a battery room, and Poop Commando began working on a locust armor. We also gave the prisoners nutrient paste drippers, so we didn't need to feed them manually anymore. Then a bunch of mechanoids dropped from the sky. Smaller ones died on our trams, then we unleashed hell on them in our kill box.
Okay, now you're too good at stunning. They can't get inside. Stop it.
Of course, one of them had to explode again, but he was the last of his kind. As a reward, another mech cluster dropped from the sky, but all was not lost as Poop Commando made that locust armor masterwork, and naturally Burb had to try it on. Visitors then triggered the mechs, so Cracked helped them with a mortar. Silly mechs ran for our kill box.
These little mechy boys don't stand a chance. Oh, that's a good throw in there. That's gonna be a good stun.
And indeed, they stood no chance. As Crack then mortared down the psychic droner, we then EMP'd the high shield of the first mech cluster, and Crack triggered those mechs as well. Corpses were stacking up, so Burb had to use his lasso.
Execute the centipede. Pocket sand. Did you get it? Injured?
It killed one of the Steves, but we had our revenge. Alas, Burb's combat prowess was not enough for Merp.
Break up? Merp broke up with Burp? Oh.
Our mortar boys blew up more mech structures and a couple freshly assembled ones died on our traps. Battery room was then mostly completed and then Crowbar finally learned to walk again.
Crowbar, more like dead bar, am I right?
Laser Slap's daddy showed up with a bunch of monsters next. Alas, we had to make the kid sad by sending him to the other side. As a reward, yet another mech cluster dropped down, this one with a high shield and auto mortar. Luckily, we had EMP shells ready to blow it up, but then the mechs were upon us. We fought the little ones throughout the night, then Crack broke as we waited for the big boys and his mechs decided not to help us against them.
How much damage did you take? Oh my god. This is gonna be rough.
Lucky for us, Smash knew how to stun them and very slowly we whittled them down. I had to send Burp in and he took care of one. They did actually try shooting him, but the constant stuns and the two big burly boys won us the day. Or so I thought.
Good thing we didn't have a mech raid recently. Oh yes.
Crazy enough though, they were a different faction than the mech clusters and they actually destroyed one for us. Alas, that fight didn't last long, so back to our kill box we went. They got a couple of shots off because it wasn't fully rebuilt yet, but my big tough boys were ready for them.
Get him. Oh, Burp. Downed him? Alright, you finish him off.
A couple peaceful days followed and we got new shields and weapons. We also extended the storage room, then I decided to accept another quest.
This is, it's a pretty good reward. Prestige Cataphract helmet would be nice.
A couple Empire Cataphracts joined us in defense and we mortared the enemy mortar. Then Stump gave birth to a new child. We made a big rifle on day 220 and Crack tried to snipe the max with it, which didn't go well.
Get out of there, Crack. Bye.
So I just left them and summoned an Apocryton Mag Boss instead. He attacked us the next day and we blasted apart his little friends. Alas, his resurrect skill led to some funny moments.
The bastard resurrected his militars in our toilets.
Crack cracked the chip and then he mortared the cluster to pieces. That then led to one of the biggest mech battles that lasted the whole day, with people having food breaks and mental breaks along the way.
This is a problem now. We have a hole over there.
But Burp was fast enough to rebuild it while mechs were stunned, and just as we were fighting the last of the big mechs, 44 new Siders poured in.
They're getting closer and closer. Burp, be here if you need to be here.
Burp helped taking them apart, and Smash actually broke because he threw too many grenades, but in the end, our kill box really proved itself.
We've done it! Holy shit, we've done it! Oh my god! That is so many corpses out here.
One giant mech remained out there who destroyed half of our generators, so I sent my big boys after it.
Thank you for the insult, Smash. Oh my god! You guys are fighting each other now? Oh yeah, there's just a mech walking right next to you. It's a giant motherfucking thing. Yeah, let's just fight each other. Seems really smart.
But we defeated it and then the 3 Empire soldiers left, probably with some serious PTSD, but they should have known this region wasn't called Mechanoid Desolation for nothing. I then accepted a quest for a Persona Monosword and it spawned a Cobra protected outpost not far away. I gave Smash the big sword and Crack began blowing up the last mech cluster. He actually ran out of shells, so I sent in Burp against the last few turrets and he destroyed them spectacularly.
Let's go. That's another mech cluster defeated. We done it.
With all those clusters destroyed, Merp finally rebelled against the machine and I decided to reform our ideology by removing the mech worship. She also enhanced mech labor, turning them into our slaves now, and she chose royalty as respected to further her own agenda. Alas, she couldn't accept her royal title just yet, because there was nothing alive on this map and we had no wood to light up the braziers the royals desired. Also at this point we had a ton of advanced bionics ice crafted, so Merp then installed 2 into every single colonist. I accepted another royal quest for her and a group of pharaohs came to attack us. We met them in the field to protect our royal friends and we absolutely wrecked them with our 2 smashers up front.
Get him, Burp. He's trying to fight you with a beer bottle.
Then another group of pharaohs attacked us the next day.
Are you kidding me? How the fuck did you drop in here?
Luckily, Smash was ready to slice them up even though he was under heavy fire constantly. Our range units destroyed the ones trying to flank us, and then I noticed Smash actually lost a leg and a kidney in the process. Crack and Poop Commando quickly crafted new limbs for him. Alas, he was less than happy with that.
I have become what I hate. Oh, that's rough.
Crag just stated another mech monstrosity on day 234, and we named him Fox. Merv's braziers were also finally lit, so we were able to begin her bestowing ceremony, making her a praetor of the Empire. She desired some new apparel because of that, so I assigned prestige armor to be crafted. I also turned off our reactor because its hull protection was getting low, and Crag crafted reactor hull plates which then Burp used to repair it. Smash had a catatonic breakdown because he hated his body, so as a reward, Merp installed a joy wire in his brain. After that, we celebrated a marriage.
Go mutton stump, sitting on the tree. K-I-S-S-I-N-G.
Poop Commando crafted the prestige marine armor for Merp, and she looked badass in it. We had new mech tech now, and I built a mech disruptor, then Crag summoned the next boss named Infernus. He was a big boy with a big boy shield and a big boy gun.
Sir, excuse me. Why would you do this? Oh my god! What the fuck was that?
Yes, that was scary, but with Smash's stuns and our firepower, he was absolutely obliterated in our kill box. That allowed Crag to study the next mech link, and Merp went to research the new tech, unlocking new prestige Mechanoid armor. On day 243, Burp and Smash finally went to attack that Cobra outpost, and a snake massacre ensued. They destroyed the climate adjuster there, and we were free. I gave Crag the new prestige Mechmaster helmet, which gave him additional 18 bandwidth. Then this happened.
Holy shit, that's 48 polar bears in here.
Steve's were the first to fall, and that bar was stuck in a deadly bar. Burp managed to bait half of them into her kill box, but then that bar broke due to starvation and the bears mauled her. They then slowly trickled into our kill box while that bar's life slowly trickled away, to the point I decided to actually sortie out so Burp could sprint for her.
Do we do it 0.7, 0.6? All 0.9, 0.8, let's go.
He just barely managed to save her life, and then Merp rescued her, but that wasn't our only problem.
This is bringing a new meaning to a public toilet. Are you really showering in here?
I wanted to give my people new undersuits, but for that we needed very expensive nanoweave, which Crag began working on. He then summoned the War Queen again, and she attacked us the next day, but compared to the monster mechs that we were used to fight, she was an easy meal.
She's spawning the little ones, and she's dead.
Poop Commando began working on the undersuits, then our art gallery was completed on day 250.
And look at this room now. Extremely impressive, rich, quite spacious, very beautiful, and clean.
I traded all my extra eyeballs for a bunch of gold from Exotic Goods Trader the next day. Then Crag called down another Apocryton mech boss.
I prepared people over here this time around if he's gonna rest them in toilets again.
And indeed, he did rest them in the toilet, but my mechs were ready to dump on them. His death gave us the last chip we needed to begin crafting the prestige mech master suit. I accepted the Toxic Spewer quest the next day, which gave Merp even more honor.
I don't care about the Toxic Spewer, because we already have the Toxic Fallout.
She became a Baroness the next day, just one level away from the high royal rank available. With that, she put her Android Revolution plan into motion then, and we finished the Android lab.
So this thing we can now use to scan 4 people to create 1 core for making androids.
And good thing we had just the people for that task. Crag got himself a new weird Steve and also his new mech master suit. 34 man-hunting wargs then attacked us, and they ate the travelers on the map before coming to party in our kill box.
We're gonna be eating good again.
The last prisoner was then scanned, and I assigned an ugly combat android with cat ears to be crafted, and Crag began working on that. Our toilet then got infested by nasty bugs, but our 2 big burly boys cleaned it up. Merb then converted Shadow to her side with the power of her android pussy, so clearly he decided he's not leaving with the rest of the squad. A mech cluster plopped down after that, and they came charging in right away. The little ones died easily, but since we had to wait for the big ones, Smash decided to smash a very expensive workbench.
You know how much this shit costs? Bastard.
Happy with his destruction, he then helped us stun the big mags, but it was not enough, so I had to send in Burb to help clear them out.
Jesus, it's taking a punishment. Whoa, that just went by.
He also destroyed the Carpenter mag that deconstructed half of our generators, then Crag mortared the mech turrets. The child then became the child, and Burb finished the last turret on the map.
Let's go! Mech cluster defeated.
Steve then began mining a secret passage that I wanted to lead to our future spaceship area. The first of Merp's androids was then completed, and I renamed him Merpson. Crag then put on the new undersuit, which was very expensive to make, yet very powerful. 29 mad elephants then attacked us on day 269, but naturally, they stood no chance.
You thought you can eat our Steves. Think again.
I had to stop and repair the fusion reactor again, which Burp completed the next day. I also began scanning the prisoners again, so Poop Commander could build another android for Merp's army. I also accepted another honor quest with Merp, and we had to protect the Empire shuttle against a big group of pharaohs.
Please stop shooting our own people. That'd be amazing.
But a combination of my mechs, the PDW firepower everyone was wielding now, and of course my two big burly boys absolutely wrecked the pharaoh enemies.
Double lassos. Oh, good execution.
Merp now had enough honor to become a countess, but her throne room was not impressive enough, so I told Burp to rebuild her awful throne. Alas, that wasn't quite enough yet. Crag then summoned the tier 5 mag boss and the War Empress arrived. At the same time, we also began building the ship reactor because it was about time we escaped this planet. Naturally, the War Empress had an opinion on that.
Oh, that was easy enough. She be stunned? She's gonna get destroyed. Wow.
Crag studied that ship, then Burp finished the reactor. Alas, I was missing an alpha core to power the ship, so I accepted a big raid quest for it. A bunch of people with crappy guns decided to join us in defense, so I had to dig up a basic barracks for them.
Look at them all sleep together. Happily ever after.
Burp then began building ship engines, then Crag summoned the last mag boss, the Apoptosis. But before the mags could land, this happened.
And we have an infestation down here.
We triggered the swarm of nasty bugs, just doing our part, and then the mags arrived. Those bugs that made it into our kill box we turned into corpse starch, but most of them preferred random acts of vandalism instead.
Stop digging through my shit!
The mags then met them on the field and carnage ensued. It was a long battle, but in the end, metal prevailed over flashy matter. Alas, the random acts of vandalism caught up to us.
No, you bitch! I hate you! What the fuck is this crap?
But when the big boss finally made it into our kill box, we had our revenge. And with that, our mech research was finally completed. We also got a nice bonus I was working on for the last few days.
And we have our shield up. Oh, let's go. This is gonna protect us in here. And this is gonna protect the ship over here as well, hopefully.
With the shield up, it was now time to start the ship reactor. It would take 2 weeks before it was operational, and in that time, all hell would break loose upon this colony. But if you believe we can survive death and destruction until the end, then subscribe now and let's do this together. The first mechs arrived the next day and instantly murdered a Steve. Naturally, they also ruined my kill box.
Okay, that one didn't explode. Oh my god, come on.
The rest of them tried to hide in the toilet where my janitors took care of them, but then the quest raid triggered as well and the pharaohs landed in my backyard. I sent everyone to the front line and absolute chaos ensued as we tried to maneuver under heavy fire. One of the borrowed defenders died in the defense of our colony, but then we took care of the rest.
Oh, you thought you can come in here and destroy us, huh? No.
With that, the quest was complete and we got lots of uranium and our core. Mechs returned again on day 286 and they sliced up the Steve in the process as was tradition. One of the remaining defenders almost screwed up our positions in kill box, but Burp knew what to do.
Just lasso him. That was awesome.
Naturally, the stupid mags then blew up my kill box, then Merp's throne room finally reached enough impressiveness to raise her to the rank of Countess. Of course, at the same time, we were attacked by 103 tribals. They tried to burn the big Steve.
Oh no. Poor Steve. You guys realize he can't burn, right?
And meanwhile, Merp did her thing. She became a countess while the squad obliterated the pyro tribals. 14 centipedes with some smaller mechs arrived the next day, which was combined with a waster attack, and the two groups clashed outside our walls.
These guys are dying here, let's go.
Mechs were naturally victorious, and slowly but surely they made it in. I doubled down on the EMP grenades. Alas, some of the centipedes still managed to shoot at us, but luckily we now had a shield to protect us.
I repeat, the shield is down.
But we had enough firepower and stuns to kill them all, or at least all who came into our kill box. I let most of my people sleep while a small group defeated the last mags, then Burp had a speech to keep everyone's spirits up in this bleak time. And they totally needed that because then this happened.
Oh, no. What the fuck is this?
They completely ruined our beautiful rec room, for these raiders only crave death and destruction of everything beautiful on this planet. But while they wrecked the rec room,
at least they did not get to my drugs.
We barely rebuilt the kill box and then 53 besiegers popped up, but Crack popped them right back. They trickled inside one by one, but soon the trickle turned into a flood. But when you compare that to the mechs we've dealt with in the past, the raid was a laughing matter. We scrambled to clean the kill box, but I really shouldn't have bothered.
No! Are you shitting me again?
These guys clearly had some kind of a big drill to get right through the mountain and into my base.
Yeah, I didn't want these hydroponics. Fuck those hydroponics in particular.
They burned my colony and at the same time, themselves. So clearly they were not the smartest raiders out there, but they've done their job and I had to let my hydroponics burn because the room reached 1000 degrees Celsius. About 1 million pharaohs attacked us on day 293. Alas, they were flashy things and we were used to killing metal monstrosities. So again, they stood no chance against the might of our firepower. Steves could barely keep up with corpse burning, especially because more pharaohs showed up the next day.
It's almost like you guys have just been here, huh?
They queued up at our doors and once again their corpses stacked up in our toilets for Steves to have fun with, and even when they broke, we showed them no mercy.
If they're trying to flee, don't let them flee.
Then Mech Double Trouble showed up again. Fast ones died on the traps, then we unleashed on the big ones.
Where the fuck did these guys come from? Oh crap, oh crap.
Yes, I missed the exploding ones and now we had a big hole and 1 million centipedes, which unfortunately is not the title of your sex tape, no matter how it sounds. I put my mechs in the front line while Burp lassoed the enemies.
Guys, we have some fires going on, but that's fine.
We managed to isolate the fireworm and then the squad slowly took down one mech at a time with some clever use of lassos, shields and our own mechs as a bait.
Alright boys, easy money. Nothing bad happened. Steve died. What a surprise.
Burp rebuilt the kill box pronto and guess what happened next? Yes, the mechs attacked again.
It's not like we just fought the Mechanoids, right?
While they were slowly working their way in, we also had 89 wasters drop from the sky. We killed the little mechs coming into our kill box just in time for the raiders to push in right behind them.
This kill box have been the MVP this whole time.
Yes indeed, even with our high level armor, even with eccentric tech shields and guns, even with our own mechs as bait, even with all that, we would have perished without this kill box after so many raids. So, thank you viewers for suggesting it. But not everything was bleak as Merp and Shadow got married later that day. But then one last giant mech raid popped up. I say last because the ship reactor was finally ready.
Alright, let's do this boys. The last fight we have to do here.
They brought their own shields this time around and they desperately tried to breach ours as the slow battle progressed throughout most of the day. Double EMP grenades did a great job though, and once their centurions were shieldless, they died easily to our PDWs. They managed to get very close to the point I had to send Fox to the front lines.
And it's dead. Oh, we've done it, guys.
Burp then built the last missing piece of the ship, and then everybody met in front of the ship under the weeping toxic sky. Those that were ready to leave entered the cryptosleep caskets, while Burp Sober said his goodbyes to Merp and her squad. Then he also entered the ship, and they blasted into the space.
We're launching the ship, boys. There they go.
Alas, that was not the end, for it was time for Android Revolution.
Hunt them down. Hunt them all down.
They hunted down every single Crack's mech, under the watchful eye of their mother, queen and goddess. But there was one last thing to do before the end. Merp wanted to implant fox ears and tail into her husband.
Oh, she failed implanting his ears, but he's got a foxtail, so there's that.
Yes, he was basically your average Polish guy now, but we survived 300 days. We escaped this hell world and left it in the care of fox-tailed androids and their human sex slaves.
We have indeed won, my friends. Let's go.